So today we're continuing the summer report series as we're trying to finish this up before the regular season. Today, as we take a look at the Nashville Predators. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe, and let's take a look at the Nashville Predators. So the Nashville Predators are a team that just recently won the Central Division. Make sure to put that banner up there. Nashville. Oh, okay. It's not a Stanley Cup banner. All kidding aside, though, Nashville does have a little over $1 million in cap space. There's not much movement out of this team that I would expect from now until the regular season, and really there's no reason to. They had a pretty good season last year. Like I said, they did win the division, a Central Division that's pretty difficult to win, and they handled themselves fairly well. Fortunately, they did lose in the first round to the Colorado Avalanche, which kind of threw people off guard. But nonetheless, it wasn't an easy fight. But well, that's the way it goes. Taking a look at some guys that are going to be free agents next year, and that big one being Roman Josi. That's going to be the white elephant in the room for the Nashville Predators. What do they do with Roman Josi? I would expect another contract to be moved, or bought out, or something, because I don't see them moving Roman Josi, but there's a chance where we see, the guy leave, taking over Shea Weber's spot, possibly moving as well. So something to keep in mind. Taking a look at the lineup for the Nashville Predators. Looking at that first line, you have Ryan Johansson, Philip Forsberg, and Victor Arvidsson. That's a really good first line. One of the better ones in the league, especially in the playoffs. This line plays very well in the playoffs, and hopefully they get back there. I have them making the playoffs, but we'll see. All right, so Mikael Granlund, Matt Duchene down the middle, and Kyle Turris on the second line. This is a really weird second line because any three of those guys can play on the first line. Not only that, but they're all centers. They're all centers, and one gets injured or one gets thrown out of the faceoff, you just throw the other one in. So really, really good depth down the middle for the Nashville Predators. I think Granlund's going to have a good season. He's kind of on a prove-it deal. I would expect him to have a good year. Matt Duchene, who loves country music and tried shying away from how much he wanted to go to Nashville. We all knew he was going to Nashville. Hopefully, that match made in heaven ends up working out on the ice for him as well. And Kyle Turris really needs a good season this year. If he can play in the top six, I think that would benefit him most. We saw, he didn't play so well down the middle, but I think he would be a good player, maybe to try and move to the wing. Maybe he could play a little bit. He's not relied on as much for, center role duties. And then we're taking a look at the third line. You have Kalle Jarnkrok, Nick Bonino down the middle, who I think is a really good. That was a great pickup a couple years ago, and Craig Smith. So Craig Smith, definitely a leader in the room. He still puts up points here and there. He's a good player for the Nashville Predators. Definitely some good depth here on the third line for the Preds. Nick Bonino down the middle. Again, they have such a good center core. I could talk about it all day. Definitely a good third line center. Kalle Jarnkrok, I would expect. This is a guy, he could end up jumping into the top six, whether, we see Granlund or Turris become the third-line center at any point, whether injuries or just to move things around for Peter Laviolette. Laviolette has a lot of toys to play with this team. He can definitely move things around, with not too dramatic of a change in the roster. So then looking at the fourth line, you have Rocco Grimaldi and Austin Watson on the fourth line on the wings. And down the middle, you have Colton Sissons. Again, I could gush about this center core all day. They have a really good center core, and I would expect that to be a huge factor for this team, probably making the playoffs. Rocco Grimaldi, he's jumped around a little bit now. He was with the Colorado Avalanche organization last year, and the Florida Panthers a couple of years before that. Really hasn't been able to find his spot in the NHL, but he's finding a chance now with the Nashville Predators. You have Austin Watson as well, who I think, with everything this guy has been through, hopefully he can, return to relevancy and maybe change the script on what people think of him. Uh, you know, I'm hoping for the best for him. And you also still, I mean, this is a really good lineup, and you also don't have a guy named Eli Tolvanen who was, really sought after last year, and he didn't put up the numbers that maybe Nashville was hoping he would. But nonetheless, I think he's a really skilled player, and if he gets into this lineup, he could be a real beast for the Nashville Predators. Roman Josi and Ryan Ellis lead the charge on the back end for the Nashville Predators. Ryan Ellis, really good defenseman, signed his contract, so he's there for a while. He's going to be a big piece of the Predators, definitely a leader in the room. As well as Roman Josi, who's on the final year of his contract, and he is the captain of the Predators, so expect a really good season from Roman Josi. He's definitely going to want at least 10, if not north of $10 million this coming offseason. He needs a good season in order to secure that. Looking at the second pair, you have Matthias Ekholm and Dante Fabro in there. Yes, I like that. I like Fabro in the top four. I'm really cheering for him. I really hope he plays well with the Nashville Predators. I think he's a great guy to have in that organization. I think Poile really did a good job resisting the urge to trade him for someone at last year's trade deadline or the year before that. I think this was a really good draft choice by Poile a couple years ago, and I think they're going to reap the benefits of it starting next season. On that third pair, you have Dan Hamhuis and Steven Santini. Now, this is what concerns me a little bit about Nashville and why I had them. I may have them as a wild card team because I just don't know how I feel about them necessarily in terms of that depth. Dan Hamhuis, again, he's more of a leader more than a real player. He probably won't play a ton. I mean, he doesn't have to. That top four is so good. You could run those first two pairs like a first-line pair, just jointed together, and that third pair is kind of just an extra to throw out there. Steven Santini as well, the former New Jersey Devil, who they acquired in the PK Subban trade. So, there's that. Looking at goaltending, no surprises here. You have Pekka Rinne and UC Saros. I think Pekka Rinne really, again, I keep saying this, I'm waiting for that year where he can get the team into the playoffs and stand on his head like he did a couple of years ago when they got to the final. He really hasn't been able to do that since. Is this the year that UC Saros takes the reins as the starting goaltender? We're just going to have to wait and see, but let me know what you guys think of the Nashville Predators. I do have them hopefully making the playoffs. I think they're a playoff team. They're definitely concerning me a little bit, though, especially with that division getting a little bit better. There's definitely a lot of expectations for teams in that Central Division, so it won't be easy for the Nashville Predators to get in. So let me know what you guys think of my opinions on the Predators. What are your opinions on the Nashville Predators? Make sure to comment down below what you think of the Nashville Predators heading into the season. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to give this, spread the word about goal line hockey. We're growing. It's really, it's been great. The summer has been kind of an off season for me as well as we try and charge up for the, the grind of the regular season. Very excited though, to get some NHL hockey again. Football starting up, so I'm really, I feel the New York, sea breeze coming over the ocean. It's definitely that time of year where it starts getting a little bit cooler. It's not as warm as it was in July, and I cannot wait till the regular season. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.